there are only transit woes in South Florida.
And we're trying to capture transit woes and hopes in Miami. Do you ride public transportation in Miami?
I love it.
Oh, we gotta get you too. What's your experience like? Is it? You drive? How often?
I drive every day.
And what are those woes for folks who may not be familiar with taking transit here or may not be familiar with the South Florida transit story?
I guess the best metaphor is that, not metaphor, the best story, two good stories. Most bus stations aren't covered, and for about 3 or 4 months out of the year, it just rains every day, like monsoons. And I don't know, the thing I can point to the most is that the commuter rail that goes between cities only has 3 cars on it. And that's all they need, because no one rides it.
Okay.
Why does no one ride it? Because it sucks. It's a woe.
How long have you been taking public transportation here in Miami?
I tend to avoid it.
What I would just love to see is just public transportation not have such of a negative connotation here. I mean, everybody has to have a car in Miami because it's so spread out and people go different places, and I understand that, but a lot of the times when you say you take public transportation, people look at it as either you're poor or you can't afford it, but that's not the case. You know, it is very interesting to take public transportation, and it does leave it leaves you to be a little bit happier in your day when you don't have to fight traffic 24/7 driving behind the wheel. So I would just love to see more access and better schedules.
You know, the train, though it's efficient for me, and I feel very privileged for that. Really, there are a lot of communities that are still just lamentably inaccessible by train. And so if you look at other cities that have transit systems and you compare the Miami transit map to like New York or Chicago or any other city that has an established system, it's almost laughable if you have a grim sense of humor, because we have this one little train line, you know, with a little addendum to it, like an afterthought, taking people to the airport. And really, we should have lines going down to FIU. We should have lines going out to West Kendall. We should have lines going further into Hialeah and branching off into Opa-locka. We should have trains everywhere in Miami. It really is just a vision that I would love to see happen. So that's my hope for transit in Miami. Purple Line is the way in which that hope is exemplified, in that it's part civic engagement, it's part commuter advocacy, and it's part pop art, which I think really speaks to the Miami community, because we're a very culturally savvy place, and we have so many different interesting ways to demonstrate our visions and creativity in Miami. It's such a diverse community for that, so to see an opportunity for it all to come together and not just be about Art Walk, although I love Art Walk, and not just be about you know, music festivals or street festivals, which we're good at here, but to actually make it something that's commuter-oriented and gives a picture of the Grand Central Station that Miami wishes it had, and the commercial center that's also a transit hub, that's also a community center, that's also a business center, that's also just reasonable if you look at other cities that Miami doesn't have. Then maybe by setting this example, people can engage and experiment and advocate for themselves to see it become a reality. Because it's a feasible one. It really, you know, as a sustainable vision for Miami, it just makes sense to have it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they take the structure that we have and improve on it. Obviously, it's very limited in the amount of places that it goes and stops, so expanding it so that it's easy for people to get to and access in different areas, not just in like the downtown and the route it goes now. You know, and same thing with the buses. If they come more often, if they're more available, if they improve just kind of the quality as far as timing when there is a schedule, sticking to it. You know, there's a lot to be said for public transportation. It brings the community together. You're much more in contact and interaction with people, so you have a better sense of what other people around you are going through as well.
So going to the Purple Line, we're gonna transform all of our transit woes and scars into something beautiful, and we're gonna imagine what Miami could be like with a better transit system, and how we're gonna get there. And yeah, it'll be awesome. We're gonna come face to face, and much like public transit does for us, brings us closer to one another, and yeah, so hope to see you there.
Great.